Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I am a man, a Zimbabwean man, who is currently staying here in Australia. I came here after I had left South Africa, but I have come here to testify that I also participated in the 2008 killings that were happening during those elections that we all know when Robert Mugabe lost the elections. And when he lost those elections in 2008, then that was when we were recruited. I was already part of the system. So that was when we were told that we were going to be taken to different parts of the country, the rural areas where we were supposed to intimidate those that we suspected that they were of the opposition party, and we were supposed to use force just to make sure that the man himself was going to retain back in power. And I thought that this was a very great job, a great opportunity that I had gotten, because I really wanted a job at that time, and I had a family. It was still a small family. I had a wife and kids, and we were in need of money, and almost everyone that I knew was just jobless. So when I was told by one of my relatives that there was this opportunity that was going to come, and he had decided that I was supposed to be among the few youth that were going to be recruited into a youth militia, a secret one, that will be traveling from one part of the country depending from which province you came from. That was when he decided that it was okay for me to also join that youth militia. So I did as I had been instructed, following the orders. But Brother Nashi, there were things that happened along the way, things that I could not control, the things that we were doing were not okay. They were quite evil. Right now, whenever I think about it, I think of how much demonic it was, destroying the lives of other people, thinking that we were just trying to protect our jobs, to take care of our families. Yet we were doing this by being sent by big politicians to move from one part of different provinces to another, whilst we were intimidating people. Of all the people that we did hurt, there is one man in particular that hurts me a lot. The things that we did to him is like we were possessed by demons, by the devil at that time. But as for me, it's like the devil has been following me all of my life because of some of the things that have happened in my life, the demons that I have seen, and the things that I have witnessed in my life. So I think that we were being followed by the devil, being told to do all of these evil things. So in 2008, I witnessed and I participated in a killing of these other men. We boiled cooking oil that we had brought with us from Harare, and we brought it to an area that is called Uzumba Maramba Fongwe. It is there in the villages where the political party used to get a lot of votes, deep in the rural areas. So we would go there intimidating people, but there was one guy in particular that we ended up boiling cooking oil, and we would put cooking oil on his back. He cried until this man died, and we forced his wife to take care of his remains. So we were even sent to beat up these soldiers at this other base where they were stationed, because the soldiers had voted previously, and from that base where it was known how many soldiers were there. But when the votes were counted amongst all the soldiers at that base where they were stationed, there was only one soldier who had voted in the right place. And during those years, when we say that you are voting in the right place, it meant by voting the president himself. So we were sent to beat up those soldiers so that the next time they will know where to vote. And indeed, when the rerun happened, he got 100% votes from that military base, even though we were civilians, but we were being sent to beat up the soldiers. Currently, I am here in Australia, but it feels as if the blood of the people that we murdered back in Africa, it has been following me to this very day. I was still very young and stupid during those years. I thought that this was it. I joined a secret militia group back in those days. The day when we were told that it was going to be an interview, back in those days, Morgan Tsvangirai used to go to different places where people were working in the industries, and he will tell those people to revolt against the government, to protest. So these people, they started listening to him, and then there was a strike that happened, and there were people that were marching. If you know Mbudzi roundabout, when you are entering Harare, so these people, they were very brave. They came from an area that is called Glenora. They were teachers. They were people that were working in different industries that had said that enough is enough. We are going into the streets. Let us take to the streets, for these are our rights. But they did not know that they did not have such rights. It is a right that is given to you. So they went into the streets. That was when we were told that we were supposed to go and support the police. And when we went there, it was not only to support the police, but we went there to make sure that we were also supporting, who, the other political party. So we went there, and this is what they do, what they have always done. Like whenever people go to march, they take those that are from the secret militia group, and they give you uniforms, police uniforms. You can even pretend as if you are part of the army. And when they set you loose to go and beat up people, you will see that these are not police, but they are secret militia. We used to wear as if we were police, going around beating people so that they will stop protesting. But on that day when we went there, we were told that this was going to be an interview. If you were going to impress those that were then, that were the senior officers, then you were going to be recruited. We started beating people like hell. I remember that there was this other old man. He was a teacher from Glenora. This man, he was part of that protest. So they were throwing stones at us. I picked up a stone and I threw that stone back at him. This man, I hit him right here on the forehead, and he fell down. The blood that came out of him, it shocked me, but I started enjoying everything that we were doing. That was when we were told that we were going to be taken for a training, to be trained by the military. We honestly thought that maybe we were going to become part of the military, but we were just a secret militia group that were being used by big politicians. We were called Masoja Mugabe. In English, it means soldiers of Robert Mugabe, but we did not wear uniforms. Even when we went for training, we traveled using an army bus from Harare going to Masvingo. We were with some new army recruits. When we arrived there, we did all the drill as if we were soldiers, but we did not graduate as soldiers. Then that was when we were taken to this other school that they call School of Ideology, where we were being taught to hate anyone who is of the opposition party, to destroy that person no matter what. So when we finally graduated in secret, we were told to move around the country. We would be given money. We would go and drink alcohol with even people that we did not even know, just listening to the conversations that they were having, because we were being told that in the bottle stores, that is where the political parties are formed. So we had to be part of it, and we would be there getting information, and we would give the information to other people that were seniors to us. If someone will start to to talk rubbish about the ruling party, we would warn that person to stop whatever that they were saying. And if the person kept on talking and talking, we would visit them, even beat them up whilst we were wearing plain clothes. And we used to have these long jackets that we used to call Undertaker jackets. So we loved those big jackets because we could hide our big knives, those machetes knives, underneath the jacket. And we used to travel with mawindi that we would go and collect at the taxi rank. Those ones that control the taxis, those were the ones that we would take. The bus conductors, they were turned into dogs, vicious dogs. The man that I can't forget in my life, I will name him Tennai. He was a man who was working, he worked from home. I would say that he just had a local bottle store there in Uzumba, Maramba Fungwe. He had 2 kids, and above it all, he was a man that was known to support MDC, to support whatever that Morgan Tsvangirai wanted to do in public. Everyone knew him. He refused to chant party slogans. Back in those days, around 2008, if you were a Zimbabwean, you were supposed to know how to chant the political party of the ruling party, otherwise you will be in trouble. If you were going to be stopped, there were people that would ask you to chant the name of the party. If you failed to do so, then you will get a beating. So whenever you would be stopped, you would refuse, and you would say that it was his right to support whatever party that he wanted. We gave him too many warnings not to keep on supporting this so-called party of his. We even went to his house and we even tried to give him a nice peaceful warning. Passing MDC, down with MDC, we wrote on his front door with charcoal, but he did not want to listen. So then that was when we were told that we were supposed to go and kidnap him. We then went to Uzumba, Maramba Fungwe. When we went there, it was me and those touts, the bus conductors that we had collected from the taxi rank, and they were busy smoking drugs. The way that they were high, you could see that something bad is going to happen. So when we arrived at his home, we took him and we told him that we wanted to arrest him, and the reason as to why we were going to arrest him, it was because there was someone who had reported the matter to the police, because it is illegal to say bad stuff about the president. If you say something like that, the police can come and arrest you. So we went there with one fake police officer so that we can just pretend as if we have come to arrest him. And then that was when we went to his house and we told him that it was not a big issue. We had the police, they just wanted to take a statement to know if it was the truth that he had been saying bad stuff about Robert Mugabe, and he was supposed to know that it was illegal if he had ever said something like that, and he could serve prison term. And then he agreed, thinking that this was like real police work. And when he got into our vehicle, that was when we started beating him up. We said that we were going to punish him. We then took him to one of these other houses of one of the men who was of the political party that we all know by its name. We had already cleared a room where we were going to torture him. So we had been taught certain types of human torture to make a person to confess to you any information that you want from that person. We were taught whilst we were at military training. So we wanted to torture him. First of all, we wanted to torture him in the mind. When we got into that room, that was when he knelt down. He then said, "In this moment, you are like a God to me. In this moment, you are like Jesus Christ. Please save my life." And then I said to him, how many times, oh Tennai, how many times did we send people to you to stop saying bad stuff about the president? How many times did we tell you not to be public about supporting whomever that you want to support? What are you trying to do here? Because at that time, the results, they were already out. Internally, the other party knew that the president had lost and the results to the public had not been given, and there was a rerun that was supposed to happen. So when they were busy planning for the election rerun in underground, we were being sent door by door to make sure that when people go back to vote, they will know who to vote to by force, and we were going to instill fear into them. And we said, what are you trying to do? Do you think that Morgan Tsvangirai cares for you? Right now he is sleeping with his wife in the suburbs. So you think that here deep in the villages, he thinks that there is someone that is called Tennai. So you think that all of these people, the journalists that come to you and they investigate you and they record you and they play it on their radio there in America, you think that they are going to save you? Today, Tendai, you are going to lose your life. We were saying these things to him because psychologically we were tormenting him. We told him that his time was up. He was going to die. He was not going to survive that night. He cried and he begged for forgiveness and he said, please rescue me. Do not do this to me. I will do whatever that you want. I will come back to the political party that I have always been part of. Please give me this chance. And we said, we cannot risk doing that. We don't trust you anymore. We speak with different journalists each and every time. So you think that those human rights organizations, they are going to save you? They are not going to save you. No one is going to remember you. We then tied his hands. In Shona, they call it Bl0od, such that when you tie that person, no matter what, will never be able to free themselves. What you do is that you make that person to sit on the floor, and after that you make him to put his hands between his legs, and then you roll him over. Then you start tying him so that he won't be able to stand up, he won't be able to free himself. It is called Bl0od. And after that, that was when we made him to sleep on the ground. So we had already bought 3 liters of cooking oil. There were 750 bottles of cooking oil that we had bought, and we then lit up a fire and we put a pot on the fire and we poured the cooking oil into the pot, and then that was when we started pouring on his back. He screamed as if he was a god that was being slaughtered. The man could not survive. And even though I was high, but when this man started screaming in pain, I returned back to my senses and I asked myself, what exactly were we doing? This was like doing the work of the devil. So after Mugabe had lost his first round, and there was this other base where we were taken to in this other district. So there were 53 soldiers at that base, and we were told that at that base there was only one soldier who had voted for Mugabe, and we were sent to discipline the base. Yes, we were ordered to beat up soldiers and police officers. We would wear masks and we would carry locks and shamboks. And we started by beating up the commander, and we said, how is it even possible that you as a commander, you have soldiers under you that vote for an opposition party president? We stripped him naked and we said to him, next time you are going to know whom you have to vote for. In the June rerun at that base, Mugabe received 100% of the votes from that base. It was our doing. So after the elections were over, there was no more need for the militia, and then that was when in 2010 I migrated to South Africa illegally. I started staying in Bl0od. Later on I went to Alexandra. Life was a little bit difficult, and I really do not know if it was the devil, the demons that always follow me. Even when I was still back home in Zim, wherever there was violence, I was always there. I would be involved one way or the other, or I'll just be there watching what other people will be doing. Bad stuff has always happened whenever I am around other people. There was even one time when I was taken on a mission. I was not even part of that mission. There was this other woman who had started speaking with some journalists about some issues, so she was supposed to disappear. I went there. I was just an observer. They took that woman and they slaughtered her as if she was an animal, and they threw her in acid so that she can disappear forever. No more evidence can ever be found. And there was a traditional healer who was there with us. This traditional healer, he made us to lick the soil where this woman had been slaughtered so that her spirit won't wake up and to avenge for her death. And when I came to South Africa thinking that now I was going to be living a normal life, it happened again. So I was staying in another location, and we would move from one location to another looking for peace jobs. It then happened that I was hired to do this other peace job by this other South African couple. It was me and my friends. Whilst we were busy doing our work, that was when we heard that there was this other man who was a retired teacher, and he had gone to town. On his way back, there were people that had followed him. They tried to hijack him, so he screamed out loud, and everyone in the community came out of their houses. So it was a vigilante attack that was happening to these two armed robbers. So everyone was running, saying that there are people that have been caught, they are armed robbers, they are alive. They just wanted to go and see. And I wanted to go and see. I did not know that bad things would end up happening again to me. When I arrived there, I was standing about 3 meters from the place where they were busy beating up these two armed robbers. And then that was when this other woman, she looked at me, and then she came and she told me that the bottle that she was giving to me, it was full of paraffin, and she wanted me to go and pour that paraffin on those guys so that they can burn them. I did not know this woman. This was my first time in that community. I had just gone there to do a peace job. Now I was part of this vigilante punishment that was taking place. The reason as to why I did what she had asked me to do, it was because amongst those two armed robbers, one was a South African, the other, he was from Zim, and I was like, I am from Zim, everyone can see that I am from Zim. If I do not do this, maybe they will say that I am also an armed robber. So I ended up participating as well. So I then went and I stood close to where those men were. They had been stripped naked, and I poured petrol on their heads. But I still remember the guy that was from Zim. He was like, please do not do this. But I was scared. I just kept quiet, and I did as I had been instructed to do. I was already smelling blood, like what always happens whenever I witness someone who is about to die. And I moved back and I stood with the other people. This other lady came with a matchstick. She just scratched it, and then she just threw the matches towards those men. I remember watching that South African's man's face melt like he was made of plastic. He screamed, and I kept on having these visions. Whilst we were standing there, that was when I saw that amongst us, there were demons that were standing with us. These demons, they were celebrating the punishment that we had been doing to these two armed robbers. And I have always seen these things happen. Like when I was very young, we once went to this other funeral. So during the funeral, then I went into my uncle's room, my late uncle's room. He had a wardrobe, these old wardrobes that used to have a mirror on one door. Whilst I was looking into the mirror, then I did not see myself, and I saw a very big, scary creature that was looking at me. Another day, when I was walking in the bushes back in the village, I saw a demon. This time it was not a vision. I saw a demon. It was seated in the tree. It looked at me, and it jumped from the tree, and it started walking towards me. Then it just disappeared. Even at that time, when we were being trained to be the militia, like I used to smell blood whenever we would be told that this was what we were going to be doing to beat up people. I start to smell blood, and it makes me to feel great when I know that someone is about to die. Even when I came to Australia, the reason as to why I stopped being a care aide, it was because at work, whenever I would be looking after a sick patient, when that person, the old person that I'll be looking after, if they would die, I will celebrate. I'll feel so good. I really do not know why. So I stopped doing that. This is my own story. When you post me, tell me, I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brother. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us try to talk about this issue in the comment section. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. You can come to my inbox and also share with me your own side of the story.